A car dealership's real job isn't selling cars. It's selling you a loan you'll regret. The shiny car in the window is bait. The financing desk is the actual hidden trap. Dealers earn more money financing vehicles than they ever earn just selling them outright. One owner told me, "We're basically a bank that happens to stock a few cars." And the banking part is exactly where all the real money quietly lives and slowly grows. Let me show you how a shop that sells things profits most by barely selling anything. Every smile at the finance desk does more for the dealer than the test drive ever did. The U.S. auto retail market moves about $1.2 trillion every single year. That sounds like a license to print money. It mostly prints mountains of pure paperwork. But the average new car carries a gross margin of just 4 to 6%. Brutally thin. 4%. Your local sandwich shop clears a fatter margin than that, and easily. So dealers don't survive on the sticker price alone. They survive on everything else. 3 quiet profit engines hide behind every gleaming showroom floor you walk into. Financing, service, and the used car you traded in just yesterday afternoon while distracted. Miss any one of those 3 and the whole shiny operation quietly starts to bleed red. For context, that trillion is mostly loans, not metal. The metal is almost an afterthought. And the lenders? They get paid whether the car sells, sits, or quietly rusts on your lot. Want to open a dealership? First, you quietly buy the right to simply exist as one officially. A new franchise license from a brand runs $1 to $5 million, flat and non-negotiable. That's before a single car, before a single employee, before you pay the first month's rent. Then the land. A decent lot is 5 to 10 acres of expensive paved real estate you lease. Prime auto row property costs $2 to $8 million depending on your exact city and zip. You are now $10 million deep and haven't unlocked the front door yet today. The manufacturer also picks your exact location. You don't get a single Democratic vote. Open precisely where they say, how they say, or the brand simply walks away forever and fast. Add franchise fees, legal retainers, and a grand opening nobody in town remembers attending. Most would-be owners tap out here before a single vehicle ever touches their lot. The brand calls this courtship. You'll call it the most expensive date you'll ever survive. By the time the doors open, you've borrowed more than most people earn in a lifetime combined. The showroom is pure theater. Glass, chrome, a coffee bar nobody ever uses or visits. Build-out runs $500 to $1,500 per square foot of showroom space. A service department with lifts costs another $1 to $3 million, conservatively speaking. Then the inventory. New cars you don't own yet, but you absolutely must display them prominently. A starter lot carries 100 to 300 vehicles at roughly 25 kya each unit. That's 5 to 15 million in cars sitting outside catching bird poop and occasional hail. And every one of them is financed on something cleverly called a floor plan agreement. The factory builds them, ships them, then charges you daily just to keep them on your grass. The manufacturer profits twice, once on the car and again on the floor plan loan itself. Your lot is a showroom for their product and a warehouse they bill you to occupy daily. Meanwhile, you polish the glass while the balance sheet quietly owes the bank another sunrise. Nobody just opens a dealership. The state has very strong opinions about that, officially. A dealer license requires a bonded facility, insurance, and routine unannounced state inspections. Legal and licensing setup runs $50,000 to $200,000 before one single sale. Then the franchise agreement. Read it carefully. It owns more of you than you do today. The brand controls your sign, your prices, your staff's exact uniform colors and cuts. Miss a quota and they can yank the franchise mid-contract. Just like that. Poof, gone entirely. You don't own a business. You rent one with a $5 million down payment, non-refundable. The franchise attorney laughs all the way to a bank you'll soon be financing through, sadly. Salespeople work on commission, so they cost you only when they actually sell something tangible. But a good closer still eats 20 to 30% of the front-end gross profit, minimum. Technicians are the real bottleneck. Good ones are nearly impossible to keep around long. A master tech commands $80,000 to $120,000 a year plus full benefits. The F&I manager who sells the loan is quietly your highest paid person in the building. They can add $1,500 to $3,000 in profit per deal, per single lonely deal. Staff a full store and payroll alone hits $300 to $800K monthly, easily. Turnover is brutal, so you're always training the next hire who will leave within the year. A single bad F&I hire can quietly leak 6 figures before you even notice the drain. The best people know it, so they leave for the competitor down the street with a fatter check. Lot insurance exists because cars get stolen, flooded, and relentlessly hail-battered yearly. Dealer physical damage coverage alone runs $30,000 to $100,000 a year at minimum. Garage liability, another $20,000 to $60,000, in case a test drive awkwardly crashes. Then floor plan interest. The bank charges daily on every single car sitting on the lot. At 8% on 10 million of inventory, that's $2,200 a day, gone. Your cars are bleeding money the second they're delivered, not when they're finally sold. Every unsold vehicle is a ticking interest charge with 4 tires and a working radio. Software, security cameras, and compliance fees quietly add another $80K a year. Add property tax on the land and the building, and the monthly nut climbs past sanity. None of it scales down when sales stall. The bills arrive whether the lot is full or empty. A new car costs $30,000 and sells for $31,000. Easy grand, right? Wrong, completely. Rebates, dealer holdback, and incentives quietly eat most of that thin apparent spread fast. True front-end gross on a new car is often just $200 to $1,500. Generous. Many deals actually lose money on the car and win it back absolutely everywhere else. The famous markup? That's on the rust-proofing and the wildly overpriced floor mats. Sell the car at a loss. Make it back on the loan, the warranty, and the trade, silently. Customers think they beat the dealer. The dealer is smiling because they just financed you. Add dealer prep and doc fees, and the real per-car profit hides in plain sight. Small. The headline margin is a costume. The real money is in the fine print nobody reads aloud. Floor plan interest punishes slow sellers. Old inventory costs you double and fast, brutally. A car aging past 90 days starts costing more to hold than to simply discount it. Used cars look juicy until you pay to recondition a beaten trade-in properly and fully. Reconditioning a used car runs $1,000 to $4,000 before it's genuinely lot-ready, minimum. Then warranty reserves. You set aside cash for every single promise you make to buyers. Sell 200 cars and the reserve fund quietly holds $200,000 in escrow. The profit you booked? Half of it is parked in promises you'll eventually owe them, quietly. A bad batch of trade-ins can wipe a quarter's profit before the paint even properly dries. Even online car sellers discovered this the hard way and quietly returned to the lot. The manufacturer decides what you stock, not what your actual town realistically wants. Buy 20 popular SUVs and you're forced 10 slow sedans nobody ever asks for, ever. Miss your quarterly allocation and next year's hot model goes somewhere else entirely. Gone. So you discount the dogs and eat the margin to keep the franchise happy and very quiet. Advertising is also mandated. Co-op rules say spend or lose the factory rebate entirely. One store burned $400,000 a year on ads it didn't even want by contract. You're not running a business. You're managing someone else's quarterly sales quota, period. The brand calls it partnership. You call it a leash with a very expensive monthly fee.
Spring sells hard. Winter crawls. Your fixed costs do not care about the weather outside, ever. A 20% sales swing between seasons can erase a thin annual profit completely, overnight. Recalls hit you for free. You eat the labor fixing someone else's factory mistake again. An aging unit past 120 days is a fire sale waiting for a rainy quarter. Inventory turnover is the only number that truly matters and the hardest one to win, consistently. A recession doubles your aging stock and turns your showroom into a very expensive museum. Even in good years, the profit lands in March and quietly bleeds out through slow December. The break-even point sits around 40 cars a month, and most lots never quite get there.
So where do dealers actually make money? Not the car you drive off in this afternoon. Service and parts, 45 to 65% margin, recurring, loyal, and steady. F&I, the loan and the warranty, pure margin with almost zero real overhead attached, ever. Used cars, bought low at auction, sold high on your lot, that's the genuine real spread. The new car? It's the bait that walks you right into the profitable back room, smiling broadly. A smart dealer loses money on the showroom and quietly prints it in the service bay. The car is the loss leader. The loan is the product. You are the lead they quietly caught. The owner drives a modest sedan while the real fortune sits in the finance office drawer. The customer leaves with a car and a payment. The dealer keeps the payment and the car's twin. So the next time a dealer thanks you, remember, you were the product, not the guest. And the free coffee? That was the cheapest part of the entire transaction by a mile.
Subscribe before you accidentally finance your own multi-million-dollar dealership by mistake. The loan will be approved. The math, unfortunately, will absolutely never, ever be, friend. Tell a friend who's eyeing a franchise. Save them the $10 million tuition we just covered. The math was never the hard part. The hard part is seeing who sold you the math. Now go enjoy that free coffee. You've earned the right to be suspicious of the rest.